You ready? Alright. I'm just making sure.
I hate this channel. No!
I was 16. It was a trampoline park, right? I was there for probably like 4 months. I got the job real quick and easy. Usually have like a 6-hour shift. Sometimes I would have a 7. I would rarely have an 8. And then I also didn't have a lot of hours every week because I was still in school and I was a minor. So, child labor laws and stuff. I'm out here like, oh yes, I got a job now, bitch. 16 with a job, boo boo. Nobody, like, I didn't know many people with a job. There was probably like 1 or 2 people in my grade that had a job. Nobody had jobs. The way it was set up out here in white suburbia.
What are you getting a job for? Why would I get a job? Why do I have to get a job? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I was out here feeling so fine. I was like, you peasants. You know what? After school today, I'm about to go make $7.25 an hour. You couldn't tell me shit because I had a job. We continue. Did training at home, which was good because that shit was boring. Orange uniform shirt. Whatever sweatpants or joggers or leggings. And some sneakers. That's the uniform. We had a lanyard too that we had to wear. And they gave us walkie-talkies for the shift. So I had like my own earpiece and I would just connect my earpiece to my lanyard. But if you want any other things like hoodies and stuff, you have to pay for that. Which really, my family be saying that I'm cheap. I don't think I'm cheap. I just think I'm money efficient. So I'm just like, why would I pay $25? Why would I give them back the $25 that they paid me for actually working? For a hoodie, just to work there. That didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, I'm not gonna go get their hoodie just because I'm cold. I went and I put on a long sleeve shirt underneath my t-shirt. I know, genius. You've seen a trampoline park before. It's basically like that, with the ones on the side of the wall, right? And then just a bunch of them. It was just the biggest one in the facility, right? There was a big one, and then there was a place like a foam pit. So the foam pit is the only place that they said that we can tell people they can do flips in. But I think you couldn't do like barrel rolls or anything. You couldn't do backflips, I don't think, either. Could only do front flips. But you know, nobody was listening to that. Nobody was listening to that at all. Of course I'm going to say it because I get paid to say that. But nobody listens. There was a smaller trampoline area. And then there was the basketball hoops with the trampolines, right? There was like 3 of those just lined up. Next to the basketball trampolines was a big dodgeball area. So all the stations that I mentioned before, we would rotate so it's not super boring. There was this one time, right? I was about to switch shifts and somebody broke their ankle. And I don't mean like, I mean like a, you feel me? Like, I heard that they popped a bone out of their, all I saw was like his leg was like, you could see that it was not hanging the way it should have been hanging. All you hear is somebody scream. Like, it was a grown-ass man that brought his kids to the park, and it is just like, oof. The ambulance came in and put him on a stretcher and took him out. That was crazy. Ooh, what? Like, it was like backwards. It just didn't look like, ooh. I was at the basketball hoop station, and no fault of my own, just bad timing. Think of like a sidewalk. That's about how big the platform distance is, and then there's people constantly going back and forth, so I have to stand against a railing, you know what I mean, while people walk back and forth. So somebody's kid went and threw the basketball to the hoop, and they missed, and it bounced off the rim, and it knocked your girl in the head. I got hit in the head with a basketball. My glasses fell off and everything. Like, I was so embarrassed. And then the kid was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." It was like a little boy. I know it was an accident. I wasn't even in his direction. He didn't do it on purpose. But like that, like when you stub your toe and you just wanna, yo, I was so mad. I was heated. I was pissed, and everybody saw it. So, management. This is a common theme in my work life. I have seen when I take on jobs, there's always something wrong with the goddamn management. Always, always, always. Always, 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 always. There was only about 3 jobs that I've had that the management weren't the problem. Because I was a minor, I was supposed to take a break, a 30-minute break, every 4 hours. By the 4-hour mark, I need that break. Child labor. Only managers that really knew me was like the hiring manager, and she never left the office. There was a shift manager. We're gonna call him Chad because he looks like a Chad, a jock from a high school movie. Blonde hair, blue eyes, big and burly. I was on a shift with Chad. Chad never once came to figure out who I was by name or whatever. Because wouldn't you think that you, as a manager, as a shift leader, wouldn't you go to find out the name and age of somebody? Mind you, I look like a 12-year-old right now, and I'm 20. So imagine how young I looked when I was 16. Chad never asked me my age. Chad never talked to me at all. Chad never put me on break. So you know what? I was like, okay, I'm gonna go tell him about it. Right? He's like,
Go ahead.
Then it was about 2 weeks later. It's been my 4-hour mark. Nobody has called me yet. I'm just like, okay, all right. I'm going on break. I went straight to the station because the cash registers is the same place that you clock in and clock out. So I went to the empty cash register. Mind you, Brad is in the vicinity. He can see me. He's behind the counter. I saw him. So it's not like he wasn't there, didn't see me clocking out. Anyways, I went and I clocked out and I went to the break room. It took them about 15 minutes to realize that I was not on the floor. He, with his big meathead self,
What are you doing in here? What?
you didn't put me on break, so I took a break. With my bag of Doritos, like I don't get paid enough, and I'm a minor. Like, I don't see what you do not comprehend. I told you about it once, and then you just did not try to correct it. So I was like, I want to go take a break, period. How are you going to tell me that I can't go take a break when you are supposed to have the responsibility and make sure everybody gets breaks when they're supposed to get breaks? So you're yelling at me for you not doing your job properly. Next time I came for another shift, they went and they took me into the hiring manager's office, and she was like,
oh, so I heard what happened, and you just can't do that.
and I explained the whole situation. I was like, he didn't send me on break. We had this thing before, because there was times that I did a whole 7-hour shift, about twice. I did a 7-hour shift with no break, just straight. So I was like, you can check the clocks, you can check, my time card, and you can clearly see that I was never clocked out for a good 2 shifts before, because I brought it to him once, and then I thought it was finally cleared up. Well, it wasn't, apparently, and that's why I did what I did. So I explained that, and then she's like,
oh, well, you shouldn't have done that, and it's just terrible. You can't do that. He's a manager.
huh? None of that shit made any sense to me. But I was like, okay, fine. All right. They gave me a strike, and I was like, there's no reason to be giving me a strike. Well, this happened. Corporate came, and I was by the dodgeball trampoline area. The way we would break them up for dodgeball was a class system from class A to class D. So it was basically a age range system. So A would be like infants to 5 years old, and then B would be like 6 to maybe 10, and then C would be like teenagers, and D would be everybody above that. There was a lot of adults that day for no reason. So I would usually tell them, oh, I'm a do it next game. Let me put the kids in first, and I'll give you guys a game just now in a few minutes. So then they would usually go do something else and then come back, right? So they did that about twice. I told them, oh, let me do it next game, because more kids were coming in. Corporate is walking around. This one lady is walking around with a clipboard. I was like, okay, everybody else sit down. I'm gonna do all adult game. So I could class the C's and the D's together. I put the teenagers with the adults, because that, as my training, I was told that's good. Put those two together. They're fine together. You don't have to make a whole separate adult category. Then the corporate lady comes in, and she's like,
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Just let me do it.
at first I was taken aback, but then I was like, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. You do it. You do it, because I'm still getting paid. I went and I stood in the corner. There was even a time where I went and I sat down. The rotation comes back, and I go and I move to a different station again. So I'm back at like the really big court. It's probably like 5 minutes before I leave. They call me into the office, and they're like,
So corporate came in, and we were told that you were not following guidelines.
how, Sway? How was I not following guidelines? There was like a good 10 children versus a good 15 adults that I turned down multiple times. And I explained the whole shit. And then she's like,
Yeah, that makes complete sense, but we were told by corporate that you didn't execute it properly.
and I'm just like, how did I not execute it properly when you just told me that what I did made complete sense?
Well, corporate came, so it's either you sign this paper and...
Basically, the paper they wanted me to sign said that it was my fault. That's basically what that paper says. No, I'm not going to sign the paper. It's either you sign it and we retrain you, or you're fired. I was like, okay, I'm fired then. And then I left, and that was it. I was not going to sign that shit, because this white lady had to roll up on me telling them that I did something wrong when I explained the situation to them, and asked them how to proceed, and they were like, yeah, that's the right procedure, and then that don't make any sense at all. Moral of the story, if you're a minor and you have a job, know the laws, first of all. Secondly, they will take advantage of you because you're a kid. They will automatically think, and this is just in life, just because you don't know something, people will take advantage of you because you don't know something. That's that. So make sure you know all the rules, all the regulations, everything. And don't put your name on anything. Don't sign anything if it was not your fault. Period. If you know that you didn't do something, don't sign that paper telling them that you did this and you comply to getting that strike because it was your fault. Knowledge is power. It's fine though. It was $7.25 an hour and the place smelled like feet.